The year is 2005. A baby boy emerged onto this earth unbeknownst that along with his new life, the biggest achievement known to man came into existence. The funkiest title sequence was about to shock middle-class America as they watched from the comfort of suburbia on their Panasonic televisions. Cue the banger. As a kid growing up in the late 2000s to the 2010s, I was able to follow humanity as it grew in one of the most influential entertainment movements. While many chose to follow in the rise of modern pop, the explosion of the internet, or riding that one razor scooter that shoots sparks, young Tyler was more invested in a different rise in innovation: the modern title sequence. Cue the opening. Ah yes, the opening sequence of a television show. A chance for the creators of a show to implement simple cuts and tropes to help introduce our beloved characters along with their casting and the various other producers and directors. Talk about one of the most influential and recognizable aspects of a single show. This aspect of initial storytelling and exposition stretches the world and covers a large variety of genres. Sitcoms such as The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Office, Seinfeld, or even Friends use this as a method to establish the characters in the setting of their live-action work. Meanwhile, animated forms of art are able to express their introduction in the exact same way. Some of the most iconic title sequences are from animated shows like The Simpsons or even South Park. Alright, I mentioned it, now move along. With such a variety of uses and expressions, I thought today I would explore what goes into a title sequence: the good, the bad, and the important. One of the most important parts of an opening sequence is that it gives the viewer a sense of setting and a feel for the show. Showing one viewer the opening to Family Guy will have a complete opposite reaction to the opening of Attack on Titan Season 4. By creating a vibe or a feel for what you're about to watch, the creator is able to establish a theme without worrying about infringing on the story as a whole. This also ties into the most important parts of a title sequence: the theme song. One of the best ways to give a series recognizability is to relate the show to a specific piece of music. By doing so, the viewer associates this theme or even the motifs within it to a specific piece of media. Think about the original Spider-Man theme, Scooby-Doo, even SpongeBob. Each of these title sequences are more notable for their instrumentation and lyrics, far more than their use of introducing the show. They have become iconic and a whole part of pop culture. When you walk into science class and see a substitute teacher working that day, you know your brain is either going to be filled with Bill Nye or Magic School Bus. And let's not forget the visual aspects of a title sequence. Think about the original Teen Titans opening. No, not that one. It's one of the most immersive and memorable beginnings to any Cartoon Network binge, because it plops you down in an artistic palette that transports you into a comic book. The best combination of both of these would have to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The opening of this show has to be one of the most important examples of both visual theming and musical expression. Each character is introduced musically, rather than just a simple name card, and the entire plot and experience of the show is summed up into one sequence, and it can practically be enjoyed on its own. A lot of what an opening comes down to is if it can establish a feel for the show to any viewer happening to see it for the first time, and gives those returning a warm welcome while establishing the plot, title, or characters. Sometimes an opening can define a show or movie and garner an audience intrigued by the subtle future events hinted in the title sequence, or captivate them on a character or theme. Sometimes the cards can be quick and effective, like shows like Loki or And sometimes they can be long-winded and show a lot of hype, like a variety of anime openings or the Marvel logo card. I think the glory of a title sequence is that it isn't subject to any narrative. Almost every form of entertainment in the industry has a title sequence of some sort. Yes, even Clarence. Why is this show still in my head? It's quite a shame how Netflix shoves the skip intro button, almost more than it lets you know that you're watching a Netflix original. As if this wasn't already a hate crime on openings, some YouTube accounts decide to shove openings into 60 FPS spots and re-upload the sequence without titles, as if they don't horribly glitch from the frame rate manipulation and text removal. It's honestly incredible how timeless the title sequence is. This is a phenomenon that's been around since the dawn of television, although the medium took off most notably in the 80s with the new style taking over. One of the most notable and iconic openings from this time was the 1982 show Cheers. I know because a Watch Mojo video told me. Come on, Watch Mojo, the best opening ever made is obviously Bluebird. The typical problem I run into with opening sequences is that I can't accept when they're done serving their purpose and where they fall flat. Some feel the need to be meta despite already establishing a banger, like telling you, this is the theme song, or this is the life of a boy named Johnny Test. Now, don't get me wrong, this is certainly nowhere near the travesty of late 2000s Disney Channel title sequences like Jonas or Sunny with a Chance, but it still feels really forced. Now this is where my opinions start to divide because I see what I fear most. Blank name title cards. These title cards are typically there for one purpose only, to establish a light feel for the show and to present the theme. These openings can actually prove to be some of the best out there. These sequences can be carried by their theme songs alone, especially A Galaxy Divided. Seriously, if you want to feel good, listen to the Clone Wars theme right now, then come back. There are some gripes I have with this format in shows, like regular show where it most certainly fits the theme and experience of the show, but if it was on any other piece of media besides this masterpiece, I'd be upset. From here we dive into two separate kinds of openings, those which focus too much on exposing the plot, and others which don't. One side you have shows like Big Bang Theory, which I mean, cool, yes, history and a fun song, this is just a meme format. And on the other side, you have Avatar The Last Airbender, one of the most critically acclaimed cartoons of all time, and they play the same goddamn sequence every time. It's iconic, yes. Is it necessary? Only really for first-time viewers, I'd say. And now that we're on the topic of Big Bang Theory, another title sequence I find entertaining is Young Sheldon. It's not even a sequence, it's just a card.
Hey all, Scott here, and this is bad, real bad.
A lot of my ridicule of openings doesn't even stem from its abilities or music. Sometimes it's just personal opinion, like for the show Inside Job's case. Although the opening beautifully captures the show's themes and contents, as well as having a nice flow to it, I find myself skipping it many times. In this portion of the video, I just want to cruise through some of the more accomplished openings and why they are so crucial to take notes on. Starting out, Happy Days. I know nothing about this show. I wasn't born in the 70s, nor do I have any intention of watching it, but I can still respect how incredible this theme song is. Next on this list is the entirety of Better Call Saul. These title cards perfectly capture the show and progress with the story in the most simplistic way, and it's so beautiful and incredible. The cinematography of the show lends its way to these awkward and goofy, yet eerie little sequences that honestly just find any video essay on YouTube to explain it better than I can. Pokemon XY or the XYZ openings are some of my favorites, just cause, come on, it's a Pokemon theme, it's iconic. I also wanted to mention Persona 5. I know, don't hate me for this, but the game's opening is a very important key tool to establishing the jazzy feel and the themes of rebellion and thievery in the funkiest way possible. If you haven't checked this game out, please do so. I could do a video on this alone, but it would be about 3 hours. Finally, I'm a huge fan of the second volume of Ruby's opening. I know that this show is one of the most underwhelming, uninspired travesties, but I still respect the vocal performance in this song and the visual display, despite my overall gripes for such an underground piece of media. The opening to a show is always going to remain such a special thing to me, whether it's a song that reminds me of the show like Arcane's Enemy by Imagine Dragons, a theming that brings me back like Total Drama's I Want to Be Famous, or a beautiful establishment of the plot and characters in a show like Phineas and Ferb. A bad title sequence can leave the viewer confused, uninterested, or misled, while a good opening can captivate a viewer, making them forgo any need to skip it and embrace the subtleties and exposition taking place. At the end of the day, it's a creative work, and all those making the show have every right to the decisions they make. It's what's in the show that matters, not some minute-long introduction, interlacing the starring cast, world, and styles, while exposing the intricate and artistic expectations of a vulnerable, yet exciting sequence that emphasizes the musical theme and tone of a show. Oh wait. Yeah, it is!